cleaning some stuff out today, guys. All right, welcome back to Sky and Thread. I'm Kelly. No face cam today. I am feeling less than great and just don't have the energy to put into making my appearance look good enough for the internet, or at least giving myself the confidence to feel like I look good enough for the internet. You know how that goes. That's a conversation for another day. But I am culling some decks today. Just realized I'm not being called to use these decks. You know, when I bought them, I thought they would be good for certain specific things, specific readings, and then I find that either I'm not doing those readings or I've tried it with these cards and it didn't work the way I hoped. So there's Oracle deck, there's Tarot deck, so stick around. I'm going to be rehoming them. A few of them are already spoken for by some of my friends, but some of them I'm going to list on my Etsy for resale, and I'll make sure I notate that in a pinned comment or something, just so you guys know when I do it. So look for that pinned comment once I get them all listed. If you're interested in anything like that, and also feel free to ask me questions about anything. I'm always down to have a chat in the comments. So one of the first things on the list is the Ink and Intuition Tattoo Tarot. Now, honestly, there's nothing wrong with this deck. I really do like it. It's just kind of a traditional RWS / pip deck. Kind of, I guess how you guys say, pips with feeling, which I really liked about it in the beginning. It's a deck that really helped me get good with my pips. It's got a really easy to follow guidebook, really simple, really good for beginners. I think I found this at a shop, like a crystal shop in the mall. So it's also extremely accessible, so I'm not going to be charging very much for this. I didn't do any modifications to it, thankfully. Usually I am prone to doing modifications. So I can get that over here. Okay. And it's kind of just a modern Marseille, I guess. You know, something with a death card like that, it feels very Marseille inspired. And again, the pips. Trying to see if I can find like the pips with a feeling. You know, here's our 3 of Cups and kind of like the movement of them dancing around. You know, your 3 of Swords. And yeah, it just says, I love tattoos. I have many of them myself. And I'm very attracted to this tattoo art style, but I do have a deck now that I think really speaks to me even more than this one in the tattoo department, and also the cards just give me more than this kind of traditional Marseille. Now, I do eventually want to learn kind of more of the traditional Marseille, but I have traditional Marseille decks like the Golden Tarot for that. And I'm just trying to weed out some redundancies in my collection with this deck. So it is gorgeous. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. You know, it served its purpose and when I needed it to, and I've just, I think, outgrown it. And like I said, I don't want the redundancy. But if you like, you know, I've been holding that up. I hope it gets in focus. Let me not do that. Let me, maybe I'll cut that part out. If I cut a portion of that out, it looks like I just jumped over to here. It's because I was holding the cards up like this and maybe they weren't focusing well. But if they were, then I've left it in. Sorry for the confusion. I just, I want you guys to be able to see these cards. You know, so it's, oops. So it's got just, I love the coloration. It's kind of blues and reds, and golds. It's got a kind of muted color palette. But again, like I said, pips with feeling. They've got, you know, the 2 of Coins. They have a lot. So it was really helpful with me learning pips. And highly recommended if you're trying to learn pips. It really does an amazing job with that. And it gives you just a little hint. Just the tiniest of hints. You know, like this 5 of Cups with the crying eyes and stuff. It gives you the hint back to the RWS. So if you know your RWS and you're trying to learn pips, like I said, highly, highly recommend this deck. Also, if you like tattoo style stuff, it's great. I think people know the deck I'm gonna kind of replace this with, or have replaced this with in my collection. I've spoken about at length, and it's in my, I think, top only 10 decks video. It's in my, I have a walkthrough of it on my on my channel as well, and it's the Tarot of the Toiling Hands by Esme Baker, who is also a tattoo artist. The styles she uses are a little bit more Art Deco, I think, inspired, especially in the backgrounds and the placement. I'm trying to think of a better word for that, but you know what I mean. Like the way that everything's laid out is a very like Art Deco ornamental style, but this is not a pip deck. You know, there's your 10 of Wands right there. 7 of Wands. It's definitely not a pip deck. But I love the titles on this. I love that it has absolutely so much to pull from in a simple black and white deck. You know, it doesn't have color, but it's one of the few decks where I'm not missing it because there's just so much to look at and take in. And that can be really busy for some people, and I totally get it. I probably don't use this for client readings because there is a lot to take in a small amount of time, but for myself, I love it. Absolutely adore this deck. So that's Tarot of the Toiling Hands. That's the reason why our Ink and Intuition is getting rehomed. Oh, and what's going to fill the void? All right, so we have, next up, we have Angel Answers by Radley Valentine, and you know, one of those decks that I think Doreen Virtue was originally involved with. And I thought this would be really good because when I first started doing tarot readings, people would ask me a lot about timing, and I'm terrible with timing. I'm just now starting to feel like I'm getting a grasp of it. Like I'm starting to, you know, get to a point in my practice where I can feel out timing a little bit better for predictive readings, but it's still hard. But I found this deck didn't help me with that. Honestly, I did not get very consistent or accurate readings with this deck. So I didn't enjoy it, you know. So there's like 3, I think, different portions to this deck. You know, the book that comes with is a pretty sizable book. It's got a lot of good information in there. I like Radley Valentine's decks, honestly. Like, excuse me, I like their decks. And one of the first decks I ever learned on, I think, was their Fairy Tarot, which I also rehomed just because I also grew out of it. And I have more fairy energy decks I like more now. But yeah, I think for beginners, excuse me, I think especially for beginners, Radley Valentine's decks are extremely helpful. So like I said, this deck has these deep purple, this kind of like more magenta, and these gold cards. And each one is like timing. And then for the gold cards, it's timing. For the purple, or the, I'm sorry, the light magenta, it's like advice, I think. I'll check in the book again. And then the deep purple is, oops, move more backwards, are like yes, no answers, kind of. I also found these to not be accurate for me. It's just not something that the system works for me. Let me make sure I explain that correctly. Yeah, so angel messages are the deep purple. Or no, he calls them blue. Okay, well, maybe we'll say indigo. What? You said these are the... Yes, these are the yes, no. Okay. Sorry, when you're sick, your brain is just everywhere. So yeah, so the blue, he calls these blue, but they're like an indigo color to me. So these are the yes, no. The angel messages, or what I call advice, are what he calls purple, and then gold are timing. So yeah, you can use these in multiple ways. And some people, you know, I think if you work with angels more, maybe these might be a better fit for you. I just could not get them to work for me. Me and these cards did not agree. They're beautiful, and I would have loved for things to work out, but they didn't. And you know, I try to work, I mean, not try to, I was trying specifically to work more with angel energy, but now just, I guess, isn't the time. It's not the time. So yeah, Angel Answers is going to find a new home. Now, Moonology, I think everybody knows this deck, or at least a lot of people. It's pretty popular. And there's, number one, this one's not going to get listed. This one's already spoken for by a beautiful friend of mine who I can't wait to send it to, and I'm so happy it's going to a home. Number two, I'm not getting rid of this deck because I don't like it. I actually love this deck, and I've lovingly re-edged it in black. It has a wonderful, wonderful guidebook with lots of great information and affirmations and just activities. Yeah, highly recommend Yasmin Boland's decks. Like I said, I'm not rehoming this because I don't like it. I'm rehoming it because I got their next deck called Moon Manifestation, I believe. If it's wrong, I'll correct it on the screen. And it's basically able to do what these cards do for me and a little bit more. But if you're learning your moon phases and your basic like astrology signs, this is a great deck for you. If you just do moon work, it's great for putting on your altar, you know, and working with the moon phases. It's got so many good things, and that's what I did for a long time with this deck, is just putting it on my altar, you know, working with the different phases of the moon, the different nodes and moon phases in the different zodiac signs. Art is simple, but I like that it has like a strong color theme. It's definitely got like blue, purple, pink kind of color theme, but I like that. Simple line work makes it easy to recognize the phases. You'll see them repeat. And yeah, everything you need to work with the moon is in this deck, and I love it. But I'll show you what I'm replacing it with, which the deck I'm replacing it with is also, it's also got a walkthrough on my channel. Now, the Angel Answer cards, I don't have a deck that's replacing that. I honestly don't have anything like that in my collection. But yeah, I don't have anything even close to the Angel Answers, but the Moonology has the sister deck called the Moon Manifestation, and it's also beautiful. Definitely like a little bit of an elevation on the artwork that Yasmin, or I'm sorry, Nyx Rowan is the artist. Nyx Rowan. This is definitely an elevation on the artwork that Nyx Rowan had done in the previous deck. This has a little bit of chakra work now that we're introducing. You know, a little bit more than just the new and full moon phases. Now we have quarter phases and first quarter, last quarter. It's just a slightly more in-depth, and I think if you've learned with this deck and you're ready for more, you're ready for a little bit more complexity, this was a great step up. It's working great for me. I really enjoy it. Actually, I've been working really hard on my manifestation thing and my manifestation practices, and that's been going amazingly. So we are manifesting some shit these days, and I'm here for it. But yeah, a lot of this is still in order. I haven't really done too much since I did the walkthrough. I did my initial play with it, but I got plans to play with this deck some more soon. The holidays just kind of got everything away from me, so I feel like it's taken till February for me to even get back on track. I know it's not just me, but yeah, so this deck is just really fun. You know, it's beautiful. It works really well with other decks. Like if, well, I think this style is really popular in decks right now. I like it with my Rebecca Campbell and Danielle Noel decks. I think it looks great with those, but yeah, there's so many styles of deck out there right now you can work with this with. If you like that collage style. So yeah, that's 3. Let's go on to our next 3. Woohoo! All right, so yes, this Quantum Tarot box is beat up. It came that way to me. It came secondhand. A family member saw it in a thrift shop and it got it for me. And so I gave it a shot. But you'll see why. It wasn't a good fit for me. I mean, this guidebook has so much information in it. It's a really good guidebook. I really enjoyed it. I mean, I'm also the type of person, if you can tell me all kinds of weird, strange facts, random facts, I'm like, I will sit there all day. And like, yeah, if you want to know about just kind of interesting concepts and people, you know, the moon, and the point of the moon is extra dimensions. And then it goes into talking about the scientific background of the standard model of the universe, and fundamental particles are 0-dimensional points. Like, I mean, it's high science, which I do love. So I should love this deck. It really should be up my alley. Like, but when I looked at the artwork of these cards, I'm sorry, like it just killed all of the intuition I had for it. I love black, you know, kind of background stuff. Like, I should love this deck. I should, but I couldn't get into it. Like, the collage that they've done here just to me is like, it doesn't do it for me. I don't know why. I'm sorry. Also, this deck will probably be very cheap because it is very beat up. It was extremely well loved, whoever had it before me. And it just, I don't know, man. I couldn't get into it. I could not get into it. I wanted to so bad. It's still in order because I thought I was maybe going to try to do a walkthrough, try to bond some more with it, try to get into it, you know, but I couldn't. I'm so sorry. And I don't think I have anything in my collection that really and truly holds a candle with this style. I don't have my Cosmic Tarot, but that's still like it's fantasy. It's not based in reality like this is. God, and I want to love it, but I can't. I don't. These cards just, I don't know. These cards I can't read anything in these cards. And I hate when that happens, you know. I'm trying to think, do I have anything? Anything, and I don't think I do. I mean, maybe my Black Moon astrology cards, but even then, it's just because they deal with real constellations in the cards. I don't know. This is such a cool deck. It really is so cool, and the book is awesome. But the cards, I can't. I don't know. It doesn't do it for me. Actually, the next deck, kind of the same problem. Kind of decks, you really want to make them work, but then you go to look at the deck and they don't speak to you like you wanted it to. But I hope it speaks to somebody. Again, like you can see, kind of the edging is starting to get a lot of damage and chips and stuff. And again, someone loved this deck and used it like crazy. Used it like it deserved to be used, you know, like loved it. I'm sure whoever sold, with the way this is looking, it looks like whoever sold that didn't want to have to sell it. See, Everyday Witch Oracle. What do I use to kind of take the place of my witchy stuff? Well, let's go ahead and show it to you first and then I'll decide. Yeah, I planned this video ahead of time. I totally planned this video ahead of time. That's me. Extremely professional and organized person. All right, so Everyday Witch Oracle, Deborah Blake. I kind of love the artwork for this and the tarot deck they have, but the tarot deck I knew wasn't going to work for me for some reason, just the artwork they chose to do. So I was like, well, the Oracle should work. And the Oracle book, the book that comes with it, has so much great empowering messages in here that I really loved the book. You know, I love the backs with all the cats. But again, there's a couple parts of this I think that made it hard for me, and let me see if I can find them when we go through it. But yeah, getting messages out of this Oracle was hard. Again, I do a lot of predictive reading, and that could be why it's not self-reflective as much. I do my shadow work a lot, but not through like, not through a lot of Oracle stuff, I should put it that way. I don't only do Oracle readings on myself. I use it to help with predictive readings. Like this, like the air magic. There's one for each of the 4 elements in here that's just like a magic card. And if you're doing personal growth work, it's great. If you're doing predictive readings, it's a little harder to get messages from some of these. You know, like fire magic there. And then I think they have a meditation for creativity, meditation for clarity, you know, depending on like what element you're in. You know, affirmation for this, affirmation for abundance, affirmation for the healing heart. Like they all have kind of like repetitive messages in each element. I think that's what killed it for me, is that the repetition of some of these, because I really wanted each element to kind of have its own flavor. And it just feels like they repurposed a lot of the affirmations and messages for each element. And that there's nothing wrong with that. That's just the formula that this Oracle takes, and it's just why it didn't work kind of for me. But I love this artwork. I love these depictions. Like, it's almost like if I crop the messages off and just read them without. That's also giving me an idea though. Should I just crop the messages off of here? Would I use it? Would I still use this if I crop the messages off? Because I do really love the artwork. But if I crop it off, I definitely can't rehome it. Like, I think that would kill any value other people saw in it. And I hate throwing decks away. I hate it. I will give decks away for free before I will throw them away. Like, I hate throwing it. I don't know. When you come from, I don't want to say we were poor, but we did have to use everything we had. We had no money to throw away as a kid. And like, I still feel that way. I don't throw food away. I don't care if it's 2 bites. I will save that for later. That will be a snack. That will be lunch. That will be breakfast. That will be something, you know. Instead of throwing things away, I will give them to my friends, or like, you know, I will wear clothes till literally there are holes in it before I throw them away, you know. And again, if you have jeans, you can cut off into shorts, so that's what they become. Like, I am that person. And, you know, t-shirts with holes become pajamas. You know what I mean? Like, I am that person. And so damaging it to a point that I can't give it away, it makes me scared. But damn, I'd love to be able to use this. It's so beautiful. I love the art. Like, I love comic book style art. Like, it'll always have like a super soft space in my heart for it. And I think it's what I love, but I don't know. I guess we'll, God, I don't know. What do you guys think? Please give me advice. Do you think I should modify this deck? Maybe if I modify it, I can make a video at least out of it for you guys. Tell me what you think. I need some help. What should I do? Because I love this artwork. Look at her. Tell me she doesn't have like super good advice to give me. Tell me. I want to keep her. I love her. I don't know. Okay. Yeah. Help. Please give me advice. What would you do? What would you do? Should I modify or rehome this one? Because if I modify and it doesn't work out, I will be mad at myself. Okay, so moving on to another tarot deck. This one upsets me so bad. This one upsets me so much because I am in love with the majors. And I told myself I would make it a majors only deck, but then I just use majors only decks like once or twice a year. And I have a majors only deck. So I honestly don't need more. So I think I'm going to rehome this one for sure. Because the pips just didn't work out for me the way I wanted them to. I thought I was going to get a lot more feeling out of it. This is Elemental Power Tarot. And the majors are so amazing. The book's pretty good. The book kind of has your average guidance and, you know, guidance and challenge, what they call like your upright and your reversals. But obviously it's heavily based in elemental properties. And I also love that the majors have like an apothecary part where they talk about a certain herb or something, some flora in the card and why it's relative to the card, which I loved. The majors in this are so good. They're so good. Oh my God, they're so good. Okay, but the courts I think are the part that really broke the deal for me, because it's just kind of like these little crowns and a sign. And I know if you know your elementals, you know your earth of air. So this is your page of swords. You know, your earth of fire. So this is your page of fire. You know, your air of fire. So that's your king. Like, I get it, but like, I don't know. I think I'm the type of person that really needs figures in my court cards. Like, I think I really need figures. They don't have to be super defined, but I'm finding that I really like that. You know, and then the thing here, I'll get to the pips in a second. So now we're going to look at the majors that I am in love with, because they're all, let me get some more. They're all like these scenes where it's like your point of view in that scene. You are walking up to this scene and deciding what you're going to do. And I love that. I absolutely, oh my God, like the lion, like, don't you just want to pet him? Don't you want to, like, oh, they're doing such a good job. Like, there's nothing wrong with the artwork on this that that I should have an issue with. But when we get to the pips, you know, look at that kitty just judging you like kitties do. You know, it's just the same fire, the same air, the same. Now I get all my majors. Listen, I'm trying to show them. You know, the same background in the air cards. You know, it doesn't, you know, here, go give you some of the earth cards. Like, the pips just really don't, they don't have enough feeling for me. You know what I mean? Like, the water does the same thing. It's just the same background. Just, I don't know. It wasn't doing it for me. But these majors, though, I love them. I love the majors so much. But it's just not enough. It's just not enough. And I'm trying to think, what do I have that is element? Well, I will tell you, yeah. I will tell you what's replaced this in my collection, actually. I think what put me over the edge to finally get rid of this, because I've been holding on to it, trying to figure out a way to use it because I love these majors so much. But I think what sent me, or what sent this one finally out the door, is the Majestic Earth. I think when I want elemental, I'm going to go to this. Because it really captures like elemental earth energies and stuff in a way that feels more unique to each card. Also has keywords, which, so if you struggle, it's easy to pick up and go. You know, it's really good. And the cards do have like some little figures in there. They're not the main focus, but the figures are there, which helps me also a lot. So yeah, I've been really, really loving the Majestic Earth Tarot. I got this one as a second sale. There's some issues, I think, probably with the gilding here, because the gilding on the corners, I don't know if you can see it, kind of has a little bit of lip to it. Because for the longest time, I'm like, I can't tell what's wrong with this deck. I don't understand, but I think actually that gilding on the corners has a little bump where it's not smooth. But honestly, I can live with that. It don't bother me one bit. But yeah, so I love this one. I mean, I have my issues with this one too. I don't like everything being renamed. That's something, a trend in tarot decks I'm kind of over. I've talked about kind of ad nauseum. But just, yeah, when I want earth elemental energy, she's it. She's the one. She's the one I got feelings from. Could write a million songs, but I know it's not enough. Okay, what's next? we are zooming along, actually. I'm proud of us today. It's not too bad. Let me take these two. These two babies. Now, I'm caught at a crossroads with these because I know they just released them as like a box, a full Oracle size. And these versions are, well, number one, if you keep them in here, it's like nearly impossible to get them back out. Come here. Once you... do you see my problem? Okay, there we go. So they're small cards, and if you can't keep them in here and use them, you cannot store them. Also, it does this to your book. If you're like me, you do not do that to your books. They're only in here because I'm going to rehome them. So yeah, I have issues. I just found that I do work with some small decks, and I kind of wanted an Oracle I could use for my minis. So I was holding on to these, but then put them in, let me see. But they're almost too small for me to really feel like I can look into them. So I am curious if I will like these better in the full size. I'm highly debating trying them in the full size, because again, they have the kind of artwork that I do really like. Although the first time I read these, I got like a word I couldn't even pronounce. It was like, not indomitable. Maybe it was indomitable. It was like some big word I had never used before. It was like in the middle of a reading trying to sound like I knew I was talking about, like, hey, I can't even look this up because I'm recording it on my phone. So we're going to just go with the artwork here and try our best. But they are very pretty. They're really beautiful and colorful, but I find that this size, and also this is not cardstock. It's basically paper. So they're bending, they're getting, I'm trying not to bend them, but like, yeah, they're not going to hold up for regular use of any kind. They really are just for looking at it. And I'm like, if you're just here to look at it, why are there cards? Like, you have it in the book. You know what I mean? Like, it could just be like literally illustrated Herbiary. You didn't need these extremely like cheaply done cards. You know, when I bought it, I did not think that they were going to be that low of cardstock. So that's been another reason why I'm like, I can't really get into using these. So I kind of want to check out their full size and hope that the cardstock quality is better after I watch some walkthroughs. So I have the Herbiary and the Crystallary. I don't have the Bestiary because I found like I have one animal deck and it's really more than I need. I don't relate to animal energy that much. I've tried and I've had to get rid of all my animal decks except for my Brady Tarot. That's the only one I haven't. But I don't use that Brady Tarot very often. So yeah, these two I am going to rehome because I'm not using them. I do have a friend that wants these, so I'm going to send them to her. She's also a book person, so I think she'll appreciate, even if she doesn't use the cards, she'll appreciate the books. So I'm hoping she likes these. So yeah, you won't see these or the Moonology or the next deck I'm going to show you. Because friends have already called dibs, but I do want to talk about why they're leaving the collection. And yeah, Okay, so Antique Anatomy hurts me as well, but because I do really like the artwork. And I'm debating whether I want this person's Oracle of Oddities instead of the Tarot. Like, maybe the Oracle will work better for me than this Tarot deck will, or did. You know, it's a great book, okay? The book is extremely well thought out and really good. And they did some things in this deck really, really well, but something about it left me wanting more every time I use it. I get frustrated. I love the coloring and everything of this deck. It is basically like a Pips. The color of the flowers do have a meaning. I just wish the kind of flower she used also had a meaning, because I really was interested in something like Victorian flower language with something like this. You know, it's a great kind of goth meets cottagecore vibe. And I really like it. I really like all the medical illustrations. But something, you know, like this, I'm just referring to my rote knowledge of RWS. Really and truly. I think the cup suit is my favorite because it gave all the little tonic bottles have a message on them. And that was great. Like this 7 of elixirs here. It says, okay, they just say take 1 vial, do not mix. But each one has like a hand, a brain, a head, a heart. You know, it each is like, you have to pick one, right? And then I think she said the color of the flowers. Let's see, where did the color of the flowers go? Yeah, she has like keywords. So like a pink flower would be compassion, caring, playfulness, sweetness, and romance. Now, I don't know if that's what I would pick for the 7 of Cups. You know? Like, she has black, which is fear, mystery, power, and pain. Like, and that's the thing, the flower colors have a wide range of keywords. I'm just like, and I understand it could give you like a way to go in from a positive to a negative, depending on how you read. But yeah, like I would put a 7 of Cups in a mystery or a fear of decision portion, more so than compassion and caring and playfulness. That's just me though. You know, because like if we go read what they say for 7 of elixirs. Yes, getting lost in delusion is also a concern with this card. Your thinking has become distorted. Your head says one thing, your heart tells you another. And balancing your emotions with reason is the only thing that will help you come to a clear consensus. So I guess it's supposed to be pink for kind of like thinking with your heart, not your head kind of deal. But I don't know. There's just so much to me that it almost worked. It almost was perfect. Like the flowers almost did there, but she goes into the numerology. She goes into so much with why she picked what she did. And I love when artists do that. I wish more artists would go more into depth with why they put what they put on the card. You know, you made this deck, tell me why. But yeah, just sometimes the cards, also baby skeletons, maybe not always what I want to look at, but I know some people who are into this aesthetic like love their skeletons. So it's me, it's me, it's not her. You know what I'm saying? You know, like this one, all these ones have different names: morphine, arsenic, cyanide, heroin. Like, you know, this is your 4 of Cups. So these are all things that slow you down or put you into your fantasy, you know, dream state. Like, which was really clever. That suit is my favorite suit, but like, they are pips with feelings, you know? which is generally what I like for a pip deck. And again, I was specifically trying to learn pip decks more at this point when I bought this, that I don't need it now. Like, I'm good. I'm good with pips now. And maybe that's just the thing, is like, it's another deck I've just kind of outgrown, you know. But like the wand suit leaves me lacking. Like the cup suit's so creative, and then the wand suit kind of feels phoned in, you know. So there's some of that. I really like how they used the body parts for the major arcana. Oh, that was really cool. The majors are done really, really well. Love potion for your Ace of Cups. Your Hanged Man. Although he's not upside down. Every time I look at this card, I want to flip it because I think I'm looking at it wrong, but he's that way. You know, your Nine of Swords with your your black flowers. But yeah, so there's no perfect deck, right? There's no perfect deck, but I do think my time with this one has passed. It's beautiful. I really do like its aesthetic. Maybe I'm not 100% this kind of person, but I do appreciate it. It's beautiful, nice backs. I don't think the other ones I showed the backs, but it's all right. It's all right. Some of them have flip throughs and stuff going on. But yeah, the Antique Anatomy Tarot. It's really fun. Again, my friend has spoken for this one, so I'll be sending it to her very soon. I'm trying to think, what do I have in my collection that kind of pushed this one off the edge too? Because, I mean, I do guess when it comes to like bones and feelings, this would be the closest one I have. It's not a 1-to-1, but this is the Wandering Spirit Tarot, I think. And, you know, this is my Hanuli deck. And she dances with this. Oh, God, that death card every time. She dances with the skeleton, the girl and her skeleton. And it's not an oddities. It's not the same feeling, but if you kind of like the skelly aesthetic, it's got that, and it's definitely got a lot of feeling, and it's also monochromatic. But you do have a skeleton in here that's expressing a lot of emotions. And it's not even needing like the flowers to give those emotions. The skeleton itself is giving those emotions. It does have a girl helping, but even without the girl, I feel like the skeleton still emotes all of these emotions, which is crazy to think about, but it does. So yeah, it's not a 1-to-1, but it does kind of scratch that itch when I'm looking for something a little more memento mori, I guess. But yeah, this is a beautiful, beautiful deck, and it kind of has that slightly Victorian feeling as well, with all the ornamentation and details. So yeah, this is the Wandering Spirit Tarot, which is going to scratch the itch for me, at least until I get a deck that is Victorian flower language. If anybody knows one that actually uses Victorian flower language, that's a tarot deck, because I know there's like the Oracle of Botanicals or something like that. My friend used to have. I used to borrow that one from her when she lived with me, but she has since moved, so I probably need to get that one. But that's the closest one I know. I'll put a picture of it up for the one I'm talking about. That's the only one I know that kind of deals with Victorian flower language. So if you guys know anything, hit me up on that. Last deck. This is another one that I have replaced with a deck I just like better. But when I bought this, I was so excited about this deck. I was so excited because it has a massive amount of keywords. And if you're learning about astrology, you're learning about placements and planets and what they do, this was a great deck. And there's so much in here about your houses. It is on that page. I don't think I did that. I don't know. Got something in that page. But yeah. So it's got a lot. It's such a good book. The book is great. Highly recommend. I do hate this card tray that it's got in here. But yeah, like I said, it's got a great number of keywords. You know, if you don't know houses or opposition or, you know, like planetary placements, it's got your planets here and a ton of keywords to pull from. It really helped me out a lot when I was using it. And, you know, archetypes for the zodiac signs. Really, really good with that if you're learning your zodiac signs. So for a study deck, this is amazing. I think this is an absolutely great study deck for signs, houses, placements, and planets. So yeah, highly, highly recommend this if you're trying to learn astrological associations and like just the archetypes and astrology in general. If you're just a beginner and you like dealing with like cards and you like doing readings, you can just throw it in there, find a keyword that really stands out to you and go from there. This deck is great for that. And I'll show the one I replaced it with. I've talked about it again at length during my only 10 decks. I do have actually 2 decks. This kind of has, one is an older deck that I still use, and the other one is the new deck that between the two I don't need this. But the first one is the Astro Codes Oracle, I believe is what it's called. This one I have talked about again in that other video, and it just gives you a lot of planets and houses and signs and their keywords with a lot of artwork to kind of pull from. It's also very like geometric, kind of sacred geometry or artwork, which I really like. You know, really, really fun deck. I really enjoy it. And then the other one I have that I like using, I heavily modified it too, so the other one is probably going to stay with me for a long time, but that's the Black Moon Astrology Oracle. That's the Black Moon Astrology Oracle. I cut the borders off of this one and edged it with purple. And this one kind of has a more, I don't know, it still has little phrases and little keywords that I like. Artwork is more collage style. So depending on like what I'm working with, what depth, what deck, and like how shadowy the reading is. I think this one's a little more shadowy, a little more cosmic feeling. This one's a little more, I feel like, lighthearted. Everyone can handle this one. This one might be a little intense for some people, but I really like it still. I think it was also one of the first modifications I ever did, and that might be why I'm also very bonded to it. So yeah, but I find this one is very direct, works really well for me. I basically learned on it, so it's got a special place for me that I'm not ready to give this one up yet. But so yeah, between these two, I don't need the Numinous, and I'm gonna get rid of it. The Numinous also is an extremely like modern style. It's also collage style, but like in how this feels very old. I don't know, old world, I guess, Renaissance, I guess. This one feels very modern, and I find I'm not drawn to super modern aesthetic, at least not at this point. I do have some more modern stuff, but not quite this modern. So I think it'll be better off with somebody else. I have these two to use, and I like using them, so I'm happy with that. Yeah, I don't know. I hope I gave good enough explanations. Again, I'm kind of on a lot of medication right now to keep my sinuses and my my joint pain and my cough and everything suppressed. So I hope I made sense. But I wanted to record a video this week you know, not the video I wanted to do. I wanted to do a nice walkthrough for you guys, but I'm going to wait till I'm in a little bit better spirits to get that done where I can actually like be enthusiastic. You know how it goes. But yeah, I hope you guys are having a great week. I hope you guys are taking care of yourselves. Stay healthy, stay warm, stay dry, stay out of that crazy storm that just came through the US. And I love y'all, and I hope you're having an absolutely great day. See you soon. Bye.